Hi guys, Ariel with Arielpaints. Once again, I asked you guys to help me out and vote on different conceptual designs I came up with for princesses. This got a ton of votes. It was number 4. If you didn't see it, you can go check out those designs on my Facebook or Instagram pages. It's Arielpaints on both. I will also try to throw a picture up right here so that you guys can see what it looked like on my concept board and then compared to what it looks like now on my face. So I think this could pass as a flower fairy / princess, whatever you kind of want it to be. I really like the way it turned out. Definitely something that I will probably use at events and parties. It's very ethereal and it'll be really, really quick once you get the hang of it. I love the colors. Bright, pretty. There's going to be a few tips in this video as well, which I will mention now. One is going to be how I load my double dipped petal brush. I get it nice and loaded with the white paint first, and then I have this pinwheel of colors that I made. It's just a Diamond Effects lid, so you can see it's quite shallow, and I grabbed out of my repotted paint just triangles of the colors I like to use the most for double dip flowers, and I put it in here. So when I'm at an event or a party, at the end, this is what is covered in that milky white paint from my double dipping, and not all sorts of random colors in my kit that I then have to clean up everything in the end. So that's one tip. The other tip is about doming your one strokes. Now this is a one stroke that I have used for a long time, and it's kind of old, but I really like it because it goes from that nice like deep dark purple to a lilac to a pink to a white. Really nice varied gradient, and little girls love this for obvious reasons. It's like the perfect colors. I think it's a Diamond Effects cake, but the back is completely worn out. If anybody recognizes this, let me know what it is because I don't remember, and when it completely runs out, I'm going to want to buy it again. So if you know what it is, let me know. Regardless, it was starting to get low and get that concaved U shape in the middle, which is really, really annoying. So I domed it, which I learned from another YouTuber. If you find my domed one stroke video on this channel where I show how to do this, I do mention her name and I link her video below as well because she's the one that came up with this idea. I did not, but I thought it was brilliant and I really wanted to try it. So anyway, so it started to wear down. I domed it. Now if you do this and you try it, one thing that I found when having different cakes that I've been doing this now with, that when you go to load your brush, instead of going completely over the entire cake like this, where your brush kind of gets stuck in the middle, I have realized that I really like loading these, let me get that in the frame, like this. So I will kind of scrape one side and load one side of my brush, and then I'll go and I'll scrape the other side of the dome, and then I'll go back and forth. And I can do that very, very quickly, load my brush, and move on. So if you are doming your one strokes or you want to try it, just a little tip on how I found the easiest way to load them quickly, especially at events where you're trying to move really, really fast. So there's that tip as well. Now, as far as this design goes, like I said, it's one that everybody voted for. Thank you so much for voting for these designs. I did about 6 different designs on a design board, again, similar to how I did with the one stroke butterflies a while back. And I'm so glad I asked you guys what you wanted to see because I would not have picked this one. It would have been scrapped immediately. And I want to do videos that you guys actually want to see. So glad I asked. So stay tuned for the next couple weeks because this will be the first video I post. And then I'm going to post number 6 on that design board, which you guys can go check out on my Instagram or Facebook. Again, if you haven't seen it, it's kind of a dark princess. I think it's going to be really cool. So looking forward to doing that one too. And then after that, I am going to do number 1 on the board, which is the one that nobody voted for and nobody wanted to see but it was my favorite that I would have just done. So I'm so glad I asked. I still have to do it because I know that I really, really want to, and I think you guys are going to like it. But regardless, really glad I asked because I would have picked the one that nobody really wanted to see. So thanks so much for watching. Please stay tuned if you would like to see how I got this princess fairy look, and hopefully you can draw some inspiration from it and come up with a design yourself that you like. So starting in the center of my forehead, I'm just going to start with a simple scallop as my guide, and then I'm going to flip my brush around so that the dark purples line up, pull the one stroke down, and then push the toe of the brush down and out at the bottom to create the peak, and this is going to be the center of our design. So I'm just cleaning up the bottom with the toe of the brush, make sure it's in a nice peak at the top of my nose. If it's easier, go from the bottom up and pull up that stroke too. Now I'm just going to do a few scallops on either side at the top of this shape, but I do cover this up a bit later. Now, if I was doing a butterfly, I would actually round it down towards my eye, but instead I'm going to do the line in more of a U shape. So I'm going to cut in and curve the line in a U, go back to the top, pull down towards the line, and then pull back up and around, and that's going to start the shape of our princess crown for the eye design part. Then I'm just going to do a loop right underneath to fill it in. And then I'm going to flip the brush around so the dark purple is on the bottom where your like eyeliner would be. And I'm just going to sweep it right over the eye. And this is a really, really easy way to fill in and start the shape. So I'm also going to cut in on the bottom of the eye and do that same motion, that same stroke I did at the top, but I'm going to do it at the bottom, and I'm going to keep it really nice and close and tight to the eye. This is very similar to how I do one-stroke butterflies, but there's just a few little tweaks that make it look different in the end than a regular butterfly. So now that we have our base done, I'm going to load my petal brush with white and pick my secondary color. I'm going to do this bright pink. I'm going to go ahead and wipe off the tip. On the job, I'll either do this on my hand or on a towel. Then I'm going to start to load that secondary color. You do want to load it for a while. If you do it too quickly, you're not going to have enough pigment and it's just going to look like white flowers. So make sure you load that secondary color well. So now I'm going to start by doing the larger flower on the corners of my eyes, and I'm going to do double petals so you can see I'm pressing and then kind of bouncing the brush right next to the first petal so that I have a fuller double dipped flower to start with, and then I'm going to do single petals moving out from that main flower. So once again, I press the tip down, bounce the back part of the brush, and create a flower. So at this point, you're probably going to start to notice that your petal brush is getting a little dry on the tip, but I'm not ready to go back into my white yet because I still have the center of that brush pretty well loaded with white. I just want to reload the tip with my secondary color. So I've dipped into a tiny bit of water and I'm going back into the pink and I'm swirling it around and reloading that brush. Now I'm just going to pull down, and you'll notice that on the outer part of these petals I'm creating, I'm pressing lighter, and then as I get closer to that main flower, I press the brush more horizontally to my skin to create a larger petal. I just like the way this looks. I think it looks more natural, gives the design some variance. I'm going to do the same on some of the outer sections of the flower as well. Just pulling different petals down. And on the very bottom of my sprigs of double dipped flowers, I'm making sure to curve the design in towards my nose so that it has a nice flow. I'm going to do a couple double dip flowers here on the edges as well, just to finish it off so it doesn't look like it's floating. And now with a pretty dry brush at this point, I'm just going to add some texture into this centerpiece as well.
a total step you could skip at an event or something, but I thought it would add a nice element. This is where I kind of start covering up the scallops too. I decided that I wanted that double dipped flower mirrored on the top. And then on that top curve of my line, I'm doing some very, very light double dip flowers as well and curving it up into a U and then pulling it around. I am spraying myself with some glitter, but I think my glitter spritzer is clogged. Even though I got some glitter, it wasn't really coming out how it should. So I'm more just covered in glitter rather than it concentrated in the right spot. So I'm going to add some later and then figure out how to clean my glitter spritzer. So now I'm going to add some white dots and teardrops. So I'm going to start by doing some teardrops at the center of our top centerpiece for this design. I am using a number 6 low Cornell. Word of caution, if you have a heavy hand or if you're a beginner face painter, you might want to start by using, say, a number 4, especially with these dots I'm about to do. I like using a 6 because I can get a nice round big dot and then just go into these tiny little dots with the tip of a number 6 brush. But if you're a new face painter, that's really hard to do. So you might want to start with something a little bit more dainty to begin with. So I'm going to move throughout the design and just do these kind of waterfall teardrops that I just really like. I think it's very princessy and sweet. And I'm just gonna kind of flick in a few white lines on my petals as well. Do some dots on the inside corner of my eyes. And I'm just making sure they're cascading from large to small, just more aesthetically pleasing. And then I did load a very, very tiny brush. I believe this is a number 1 low Cornell with some neon yellow, and did some dots and little flicks, but I don't think it adds that much to the design, so you can just stick with white. Now I'm going to finish it all off with some hot neon lips, throw some glitter on them, as well as pat some glitter onto my design since my sprayer seemed a bit clogged. Didn't really do the job, but that is much better. And we are all done. Here is my flower fairy princess design. I hope you guys liked it. Thanks again, everyone who voted. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment and let me know what you think.